And as we mentioned, the Carney government has announced new sanctions against Russia and new assistance for Ukraine. So for more on all of that, let's bring in the CBC's Janice McGregor. She's live in Ottawa. So Janice, what is this additional support that Canada is providing?
Strong moral support as well as material support. If you were in downtown Ottawa last night, you would have seen Parliament Hill lit up blue and yellow. Notice the Foreign Affairs Minister this morning wearing blue and yellow. We're going to see other kind of symbolic gestures over the course of the day, recognizing this difficult anniversary for the people of Ukraine, but also a couple of ministers as well as the Prime Minister stopping on his way into Cabinet this morning to express Canada's solidarity with this fight and also suggest that Canada is very much in this for the long haul, announcing new ways that Canada is going to be supporting Ukraine in this war. Take a listen.
In the middle of winter, Ukraine is suffering because of the extreme cold. It is for that reason that our sanctions are focusing, as they did with the oil cap, on ensuring that we're supporting Ukraine's energy sector.
There was a meeting this morning, very early this morning, of the Coalition of the Willing I participated in, with including President Zelensky, chaired by President Macron, pardon me, and Prime Minister Starmer. 4 years on, Russia is failing militarily, strategically, and economically. And we are in it for the long term. Canada and the Coalition of the Willing.
We saw again last night the violence. We saw again the arbitrary targeting of residential areas, of energy grids, and beyond in Ukraine. It's a very difficult time for the people in Ukraine right now, and it's a very cold time.
Canada doesn't act alone when it comes to its support for Ukraine. You heard the Prime Minister referring to being on a meeting with the Coalition of the Willing this morning. Just to remind people, this is the group brought together, led by the UK and France, a lot of European countries represented, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, as well as Canada. Notably not the US. It is not a NATO group, although it includes a lot of NATO partners, allowing them to take specific actions in support of Ukraine, separate from the conversations it might be having with the Americans at NATO. A number of tangible ways to support Ukraine's military coming now as a result of these conversations. Canada announced it's extending Operation Unifier, that of course has been operating for years, helping to train and equip Ukraine's military. Canada providing an additional $2 billion in support for Ukraine's military, including, it was announced today, a purchase of 400 armoured vehicles. This is a donation in kind on Canada's part to help with the ground war there. Mark Carney also reminding that Canada is the third largest donor to the Pearl air defense system, that of course so critical in this war, which has turned out to be very much one fought from the air. Anita Anand announced that Canada's sanctions regime has also been tightened as of, well, online I can see it was the actual orders were as of February 19th, but announced today to mark this anniversary. Another 21 individuals sanctioned, another 54 Russian entities sanctioned, with a real focus on trying to crack down on Russia's energy sector, as you heard in those clips there, make sure that Russia has no way to continue to pay for the war it's fighting against Ukraine.
So Janice, as we touched on there, certainly there is support, more support from Canada and other allies for Ukraine, but also actions being taken against Russia. So let's dig a little bit deeper into how Ukraine's allies are targeting Russia's energy sector. What's the coalition doing on that front?
Yeah, trying to squeeze even harder. So among the sanctions just published, there are some 100 vessels from the Russian shadow fleet listed. Just to remind people, this is the kind of group of tankers, if you will, that continue to sort of move and try to move Russian oil resources to markets around the world. So important for Russia to be able to export its energy resources, to be able to have some income at this time. But significantly, these partner countries have agreed again to lower the oil price cap. It is now going to sit at $44.10 US. That's significant because a break-even point for Russian crude, I understand, might be about 50 to 60 US. That puts the Russian government in the position of having to sort of go to its budget resource it's well funded. It's sort of its spare resources instead of being able to fund everything it needs to do as a government off of oil revenues as they continue to be squeezed and lower and lower. So a very important move in terms of cutting off the financial means to continue this war for Vladimir Putin. Mark Carney's statement today talked about this being a critical point where the possibility of peace is real, and these coalition partners wanting to do what they can to make that happen.
Janice, thanks for the latest on this. That is the CBC's Janice McGregor in Ottawa.